How's it going, guys? I'm Art Lieutenant here with theflyfishers.com, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how to tie a golden stonefly nymph. For the golden stone today, we're going to be using Daiichi 1710 wet nymph hooks. You can tie this fly in a range of sizes, small to big. Works great. Western states, eastern states, I've fished it all over and had pretty good success. First up, take your hook, place it in the vise there. Use a golden bead. You can interchange it out with some tungsten beads, brass beads, whatever you want to give your nymph a little bit of a more edgier, bolder look in flatter water. Also, you know, tungsten beads help you drop it down there, bunker busters, get you way down and dredge the stream bottom. First step, obviously, just take your thread, wrap it back, and I'll take my thread and I'll wrap it all the way back just to the barb. Make a couple nice wraps, secure it in place, put off the excess. Next step, I'll be taking gold wire, ultra wire. I like to use medium for this since it's not a huge fly. We're tying on a size 8 right now. If I was tying a size 4 or 2, I'd be going with a large. And I'll run that wire up all the way along the body of the nymph here just to add some bulk and start to build the body. Once again, take your thread all the way back to the barb. Make sure that wire is real secure back there so when you're wrapping it that it doesn't slip around on the shank of the hook. After you have your wire in place, next step comes tying the tail on. I like to use Brown Goose Biots. You can use yellow or ginger, you know, suit yourself. The easiest way to put these on, they've got a slight bend to them, and if you face them oppositely, they should come out with that perfect V, which is a nice, easy, good-looking tail to tie on your nymph. Pinch them between your thumb and your pointer finger, and just slide them back along the shank of the hook to your desired length. When I tie them in, I tie it all the way up. Once again, I like to use all the excess material in building up my bodies. Clip off a little bit of excess. And there you have it, the end. Nice little V-tail there. After the tail's in place, wrap back and secure those biots in a little bit better. They'll slip around on you. Next, we're going to be doing the abdomen of the nymph here. I just made a dubbing loop. Come up and make a loop with your thread and tie it off just like you're tying in a new material. And I'll use a dubbing loop tool or dubbing whirler. After you've got your dubbing loop whirler in place, I like to use Hare's Ice Dub Tan just for the body of my nymphs. Even for golden stones, you can do it for any color stones. It's just got a nice little bit of flash in there. The ice dub's really cool, just gives you that little bit of extra tastiness in your flies. Be pretty generous with it. Fill that big loop all the way up. Once again, pretty generous. Don't have to scrunch it in too good. Just give it a couple good twists. After that, start spinning the loop. I'll always spin it as tight as I can get it, just so I don't have puffy, nasty dubbing on my fly. Makes for a real unclean look. Now, one thing that the dubbing loop tool is great for, as opposed to just spinning your dubbing on your thread, it makes it a lot more even, and you can't spin the same amount of dubbing on the string every time and get it with the same density. Run your fingers up and down, just pull off a little bit of loose stuff. Now you're ready to start wrapping the dubbing on just like you would another item of tying material. Now as I wrap up the shank, I'll start out with single wraps. As I get closer to the middle of the body of the nymph, I'll start doubling my wraps up, building that big stonefly body. When you get all the way set, pull any excess dubbing back, make a nice little finish on there. And it's all poofy right now, but once you wrap the wire up and get everything else tied in, it'll come down. Wrap the excess up in there, pull it back. Alright. After you're done wrapping your dubbing on, we're going to be wrapping the golden wire forward. Now, as you wrap it, just make sure you don't bring it up in between the two biots, and that'll pull one of them the wrong way or make it look all weird. I'll start by wrapping away from me, and just don't pull down real hard. You want to have a nice little body, but you don't want to squish all your dubbing down. Nice even wraps up to your thread. Let's do a couple wraps, tie that off, and I'll leave the wire in place because I'm going to continue that up the body. After you have the gold rib in place, we're going to be adding another set of legs here. Legs are what pretty much gives the stonefly its life in the water, and the more legs, the buggier it looks, the more I seem to like it, and the fish seem to like it. So, can't have enough legs if you ask me. If you're taking those Brown Goose Biots again, just tying in our first set about halfway up the fly here. Now once again, you want those to kind of follow that same V that your tail was on. And you can clip off the excess. I like to wrap it into my body just to start building up that body once again. Because in the end you want your stone to have a nice little plump midsection, nice little treat. After you have that set of legs on, we're going to be kind of doing the top of the shell, or the wing casing of it. I like to use this Swiss straw. It's great to work with. When you take it off of the spool, it kind of comes like chenille or something, and you're going to take it apart and you're going to kind of unwrap it. It's all kind of scrunched up together. I'll unwrap it, get it real flat. It's a lot easier to work with. Once again, fly tying is just making the materials do what you want them to, so don't be afraid to play around with things and kind of, get a feel for a material. So you're going to get it all flat, and then we're going to start to fold it over on itself. And you're just going to keep folding it over on itself till it's about, 2 times the width of the stonefly right now. And once you've got it folded over a couple times, we're going to fold it over the crossways. So we're just going to bring it back on itself, and that'll give a nice little bend, and that'll help us make our wing case here. Once you've got that in place, we're going to lay that right over the legs we just tied in. Wrap forward. You still want that gold wire to be stuck in place right under the little wing casing you just put in there. Alright, once that's in place, we're going to be going back. I'm going to add just a little bit more dubbing on top of that, just so we don't break up the body here. If I'm just adding a little bit, there's no use for the big dubbing loop tool. Just spin a little bit on with your fingers. If it's not going on, you can always pick up some dubbing wax, which is great, and it helps your dubbing non-slip at all. Just wrap that, get that secured in place.